And welcome to another edition of Blewetts Blitz. A little bit late in the week, Saturday. Got the one guy last week who's like, what did the guy say on Twitter? He's like, who cares about it on Friday? Well, now it's Saturday, guy. But, with the schedule and stuff, I apologize. Next week, I'm going to have to start doing them on Sunday nights. So they're going to be after the Jets games, just at like 10 o'clock at night or whatever it's going to be. I'll be transparent. I hate doing it after the games like that because I don't like taking notes like that. I kind of like watching like a fan and then having to analyze it, but I'm going to have to analyze it a little bit or kind of just freestyle it on the show. But what is up, everybody? Saturday night. Some decent college football on today. Kind of got to watch a little bit of it, but really busy around the house. Have the Dodgers on right now, rooting against them, but seems like they're gonna pull it out. If there's any good college football games on right now, let me know. Let me know what I should be looking for. And then we'll there's a lot to talk about, obviously, right? Man, a lot happened this week. It feels like a really long week. I kind of forget the game. Like, obviously the game was 6 days ago. So we'll talk about some of it, obviously, a little bit, but I kind of just float the chat and let the chat decide what we're gonna talk about. A little bit of an update. If you notice the chair behind me, I got a much updated chair, not one that was sitting in my wife's house before I even met her, which was 16 years ago now, which is wild. But not sitting in a 20-year-old chair anymore. I'm sitting in a brand new Jets chair. It's very, very comfy. But other updates, and we'll get into it in a little bit. I don't want to break into it right away because it will be the entire hour and 40 minutes, whatever this podcast is going to be. I watched 6 games of Mendoza. I watched 6 games of Simpson, and I watched 4 games of Moore as well. So I have a pretty good feel for them. Obviously, they have another 4, 5, 6 games each, 7, whatever it is. I don't know, to kind of round out their game, prove more to me, improve in areas, fade away in certain areas, however you want to phrase that, or get worse in certain areas. So I don't have like my scouting reports done. I have my loose notes of strengths and weaknesses, but I definitely have a pretty good feel for these guys. I want to watch a little bit of more before like fully commenting on him, but I have a pretty damn good feel of what Mendoza, Simpson are, and it's an interesting conversation because they both sketch me out. They both sketch me out for certain reasons, and they're both really intriguing for certain reasons. More I want to watch a little bit more of, just a little bit of a sneak peek. I do think he's my third of those guys, relatively easily. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting conversation. So if you want to throw some quarterback, not now, hopefully wait an hour if you're still here, because I'll talk the entire time about the quarterbacks and completely forget about the Jets game, which they lost. What was it, 13-6? I was supposed to go to this game, and I just didn't. I didn't feel like going, so I didn't go. Obviously, an extremely boring game. Offense sucked. Fields comes out, gets pulled after halftime, which I guess. Let me hit the chat before I start freaking out on Aaron Glenn. I don't even think I could freak out, honestly. Like, my schedule is so jacked up. I don't sleep a lot, and I'm so numb to the Jets right now. And it's 10 o'clock at night. Like, I'm not going to freak out. I'm not. But let's answer some questions here. Say hello to the chat. I saw this, Neil. Oh, and by the way, I know I just kind of just go in circles at first. Welcome Mackle1 to the JetX YouTube. So I appreciate you. $3 a month. Listen, you get all the reviews, and I'm going to put out full-blown massive reviews of these quarterbacks. Like I said, I've watched 6 games of Mendoza, 6 of Simpson, 4 of Moore. I already have 118 plays recorded of the 3 combined. So you're probably looking at near 100 play reviews of each of them. So I'm probably going to break them each up into either 2 or 3 parts. So you're going to get a lot of quarterback stuff. And I know that's not certain people's bread and butter. Obviously, if you're listening to this show, it may be. I know certain people who just listen to the podcast because they want to hear like the film-centric talk without actually watching the film. But if you are one of the film people, it's going to be the biggest decision the Jets can possibly make is the quarterback they're going to pick, especially if they're number 1. So if you want a good 2, 3, 4 hours of talk about these guys and really seeing what their strengths and weaknesses are and not kind of just going with the same old storyline bullshit you hear on Twitter and whatever else, then come and subscribe $3 a month. Even if you just subscribe for the next couple of months, you're talking about $9, $12, $15 to figure out what all these picks are, the draft picks once they come out, all that stuff. So I appreciate it. Appreciate all the support from you guys. Neil from Cali, look forward to hanging out with out here tonight. Curious on what traits or skills you will look for when evaluating college quarterbacks? There's obviously a lot. Like, you want to see the type of offense, you want to see vertical shots, anticipation, pre to post snap reads, footwork. You want to see them under pressure pretty consistently. What's the level of competition they played? There's really a lot. And then in terms of the Zach Wilson one, and I would almost be interested to go back and watch myself 4 years ago, because I try to grow every day, in terms of like film work and and what I know and what I understand. And I would say I definitely started off, like, not that sound whatever, but like my journey with learning this stuff with like individual player performances and techniques and stuff. And more recently, I've been dabbling into more schematic type stuff, just so I'm more well-rounded. And, so I'll be curious to go back and watch. I think the biggest miss with Zach Wilson was the level of competition he was playing, and some of the pockets he was in, and lack of pressure he was facing, and not paying attention to him, or not paying attention to the concerning signs when he was under pressure enough, I think, is one of the biggest misses probably with Zach Wilson. That's probably a 200 play review, so I don't remember exactly what I was thinking with Zach Wilson, but it's a really good question. I really like that question. Pat, what up, Joe? Why can't we let Jet scouts get it right when they evaluate quarterbacks to anticipate throws? Is my internet sketchy right now? No, it shouldn't be. I see myself like skipping. To anticipate throws and go through progressions and always keep their eye. It's realistically, it's the hardest position to evaluate in all of sports. It really is. It's you can't tell how they're going to, you can't always tell how they're going to translate to your offense, how they're going to face the pressure, especially in New York, how are they going to face the pressure from the media and the fans. There's a lot, man. And like a lot of these guys, like you could look at and just watch some idiot put up a play of Fernando Mendoza, like, oh, I was told he can't move. And it's like him scrambling, versus like some, whatever school. I'm not good with like the, Big Ten, Pac-12. Like I'm not really good with that, like college football, but like a smaller level school. And you have to translate to that to the NFL. Like, he's not running away from TJ Watt or Myles Garrett or, for Jets' sake, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, anything like that. So you have to kind of like translate the plays from, okay, this works in college. Would this play work in the NFL? This play that he fit into this window in college on this dagger concept, would it fit into a window in the NFL if that safety or if that corner was in the same spot in the NFL? Should he throw that? Yeah, it worked at the college level. Could be sketchy at the NFL level. So there is so much. How are they coached? What are their reads? Like, there is, and I think a lot of it with quarterbacks, like sitting down with them, like, hey, what was this play? What did you see? What are you taught to read? I think quarterbacks is not largely, but a large chunk of it is in the meeting rooms, like talking to them, because there a lot of concepts people read the same. But that's not true for all concepts. A mesh rail, you might have a system that has the rail route or the kind of the wheel route out of the background as like a hot route. And only, you're only going to throw it for certain coverages. You have certain ones that it's the first read. You have certain mesh concepts, like say it's like a mesh spot. You have concepts where they're going to read the two underneath, the two drag routes, and then get to the spot or like the sit route over the top. You have ones who will read the one drag to the sit to the other drag, like a triangle read. Like, there's so many different types of ways to read stuff for certain systems that you really have to get into the meeting room with these guys. You can kind of figure it out when you're watching the film and like seeing where their eyes are going and stuff, but sometimes their eyes are going to the wrong places too. Like, there's so much to it. There really is. And it's why I've hated watching. I don't hate watching quarterbacks. I could say the last couple of days of watching these guys has been the most excited I've been watching film, because it's just been so bad. Watching the Jets games, we're like, yeah, it's fun to watch these guys, but it's not exciting anymore. Like, I watch the young guys, but I kind of more dread it to a certain extent. But watching the quarterbacks has been exciting, and really kind of getting to know these guys. So that's been fun. Devils kicking the shit out of people has also been fun, by the way. Cheers to the Devils fans out there. I'm sure there's obviously more Rangers fans. I would say Islanders are probably number 2, right, in the metro, like in the area in terms of popularity. Right? I don't know. Would you guys say Islanders or Devils are more popular? I don't know. Rangers are definitely first. I think you can argue Islanders versus Devils, but you can't argue who's the best right now, because the Devils are the first in the NHL right now. They are whooping ass. So, Christian, when will the pain end? I don't know, dude. Hopefully with the quarterback. I'm just concerned that Aaron Glenn is going to be leading this guy. Then are they going to ruin him? And even if they don't ruin him, is it going to be a Sam Darnold situation where we had the right guy and we just don't develop him properly, goes elsewhere and succeeds? Now, with that being said, with Sam Darnold, I do think it's a little bit oversaid that, or overstated that, okay, the Jets ruined him. He went elsewhere because it took him 7-8 years to figure it out, right? It's not like he went from the Jets to the Vikings and figured it out immediately, right? Like he went to the Panthers. Did he go to the Niners after that for a year? Was it the Niners or who did he go to after? Maybe it wasn't the Niners, but he bounced around a little bit before he really figured it out. So it wasn't like, oh, just the Jets with Darnold. I think he needed time regardless. But I don't know, man. Like, do you have faith in Glenn? Who, again, man, like the media stuff this week with him going after reporters again. He puts unnecessary pressure on his back. Like if we were winning games and he was going to be an asshole, fine. It is what it is with Glenn. And this is a perfect comment for it from Beloved Peace. The tough guy stuff would work if he was winning, but it's so unnecessary this week with, oh, well, I'm not going to tell you what the quarterback is. All you have to say, instead of being and excuse my French here, it's 10:32 at night, so it is what it is. Like instead of being a dickhead about it, just say, we haven't made a decision as a staff, and we're going to continue to evaluate it through the week, and we'll know by Saturday or something like that. Like obviously, maybe not exactly that, but something to the effect of we haven't made a decision yet. We'll let you guys know when we know. That's it. Something like that. As simple as that, but he has to be a dick about it. That, was this a game where they didn't go for the punt. They didn't go for the first down in this game on the punt thing, but it was just, it's that with Glenn. And it's also the fact that, just a week ago or however long it was ago, maybe almost 2 weeks ago now, where Brian Costello asked if they're going to potentially bench Justin Fields or if he's going to be the quarterback moving forward. And Glenn is questioning him like he's the dumbest guy in the world. Like, how could we ever bench Justin Fields? That's such a dumb question. And it only took him 2 more quarters to then make the same move. So clearly you were thinking about it, but then you had to treat the media like an asshole. When you were thinking about the same thing, either that or you're just an idiot. I'm almost hoping it was more so the fact that he was just being a dick about it instead of him being an idiot, because if he was so steadfast and we can't bench Justin Fields is the dumbest question ever, comparing him to guys like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, to then just a half a football later saying, oh no, now we have to bench him. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's just the dumbest shit ever, regardless of like all the stuff he does in the games, which is also stupid, clock management, whatever else. Oh yeah, that was the thing before half. It wasn't the fake punt. You go into half with a timeout in your pocket and like you're near the 50-yard line, and literally just last week you said, oh, well, maybe at the end of the half, I would have, if I can go back, I would have thrown a Hail Mary. And then nearly identical situation. This time you're actually closer to the end zone, because the last time you're like the 45 yard line. This time you're a little bit closer, at least I forget the exact yardage. And there's however many seconds left, and he could heave up a Hail Mary at the end of the half, and they just go into halftime with their tail tucked between their legs. So he just talks himself in circles. He brings unnecessary pressure on himself. He's improved nothing. He doesn't hold guys accountable. So he's bad in the media. He's bad at holding guys accountable. And he's overall shitty with time management and stuff in games. So what does he do right now? So that's my biggest question with evaluating his quarterbacks. Like, it's fun to watch these guys, but who is going to be developing these guys? And like Engstrand started out the season hot, but let's be real here. Like the last couple of weeks, and listen, there's obviously it's a very long form discussion. Like, okay, it's Fields. He's not hitting guys who are open. It's Tyrod, who he's called up a perfect like double pass or whatever it was exactly. Forget now. Where Lazard is running wide open down the field, and Tyrod underthrows him by 15 yards, 10, 15 yards, like just an abysmal throw. So you have to factor that in. And then the next play of Josh Reynolds open. I don't know if it was I forget it. I don't know if it was Mills or double post or whatever it was, but you have Josh Reynolds open on a post from the outside to the right side of the screen, and Tyrod puts way too much air under it. He has to throw that ball on a rope, and he puts way too much air under it. Josh Reynolds should attack the ball, but it could have been a walk-in touchdown pretty much for Josh Reynolds. So your quarterbacks aren't helping you, but there's some lack of creativity. There's some lack of motion. Justin Fields did run the ball more this week. I would say, top of my head, there's at least like 4 to 6 QB designed run plays for Justin Fields in this game. So we upped that. People talk about, again, I mentioned this before, like people talk about RPOs with him. The problem with RPOs is you have to be able to process information very quickly. And we know Justin Fields cannot process information quickly. So we have to kind of cut it out with the RPO stuff, because I really don't want him reading a lot of RPO. And again, people lump in RPOs and read options, and they're completely different. Now you can have an RPO with like a run option being the quarterback, but it's a run pass option. It's not a read option to run. A lot of people lump them together like they're the same thing, and they're absolutely not. So, hold on, sorry. I got a person detected on my doorbell. Let's make sure. What the fuck was that? Hold on. All right, we're good. Make sure I don't have to pull out the Glock on that one. I get doorbell notifications at 10:35 at night. I'm checking the doorbell camera, so sorry. But yeah, no. So AG, man, like we all want to like him, right? But he's not helping himself literally at all. So, we'll see. Unfortunately, interviewing these college quarterbacks. Okay, yeah, that's a good point, Rob D. Because I don't know if I'm assuming you said that before I said that, but that's a huge part of it. Where were you for the Brady Cook legacy game? Oh yeah, man. And then like we've all killed it now at this point. I don't have to go into a whole rant about the Woody Johnson stuff. I'm sure we're all kind of like, we all understood what he said, right? Like, hey, yeah, it would be nice if this team can compete at pass, but you're the owner of an NFL team and you're saying it'd be nice if we can complete a pass. You're only making it harder on Aaron Glenn to then go back to Justin Fields. And then of course, in the most Jets fashion, Tyrod is going to be the starter. And now he gets injured in practice or whatever. He tweaks his knee, and now Justin Fields is starting. The guy who the owner just said it would be nice if he can complete a pass. And he also kind of insinuates like, oh, Jets fans know what's going on, which means either one of two things to me. It means either that he knows like, hey, they know the quarterback sucks and we need a new quarterback, or like, oh, they know this is a rebuild. Like that's the only two ways I can kind of take that. But just so unnecessary to say that after apparently, when they initially ran into him, he said he didn't have much to say and then went on to speak for 6-7 minutes about it. So just brutal, man. There's a reason the Jets are looked at as a circus, and it's reasons like that. No owner talk but Woody Johnson, and he's saying it's nice if we can complete a pass, which is, hey, yeah. Like when I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't disagree with it, but that's something I would say to my buddy not being recorded, or with you guys, not as the owner of I'm not as a billionaire and the owner of a football team. Like it's just so unnecessary because it makes it so much harder on Glenn. Like now what is Glenn supposed to do? Like your owner hates your quarterback. Right? Do you go back to him? And now they're forced to. Like it just makes them look so stupid. It's just so unnecessary. What are you helping? You're not helping him, or you're not helping yourself. And the players who already voted you the 32nd owner in the league. You're not helping your coach, or your coach is. And regardless if Justin Fields is a bad quarterback, which he is, and we knew that. And again, where are the guys now who, when I said it's a 5 to 10% chance he works out, we're like, oh, you're an idiot. You're a racist. It's like, no, he just sucks at football. And I'm just being honest with you guys. And look, he sucks at football. But the thing is, like, Garrett Wilson's his boy. Like, a lot of people like Justin Fields because apparently he seems like a good dude. I wish he had a little bit of fire sometimes. And I think he has like play fire, but I wish maybe in the media a little bit more fire. But who cares? Like, if he wins, who cares? Maybe I shouldn't have even said that. But people like him. So even if he's not good, there's no reason to throw him under the bus. Like, just so unnecessary with that stuff. Just. Again, it's not even that we just suck on Sundays. Then the media, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, is just bad. With Glenn's bad. With Woody Johnson, it's bad. We had a great week of practice. I saw that quote on Twitter again. So, what's going to happen in this game. It's just hard. Like, do you root for the team now to be so bad they bottom out that Woody Johnson is forced to fire Aaron Glenn? Or if Glenn's going to be here, regardless if they go, 2-15, do we root for them to get some wins because you want to build that culture? It's man. David says, tell us the one thing someone to look forward to. Yeah, man. The quarterback class, 118 plays of these guys. I'm going to put up some plays during the bye week, at least a good chunk, maybe 20, 30 plays of each of them during the bye week or something like that. Maybe. I don't want to give too much out. Like, I want people to come to the podcast and the YouTube channel and like check it out and stuff. So, yeah. Good evening, Christian. What's up? Meatball, what is up? Which, by the way, Christian, that's my brother-in-law's name. Christian and Danny are my brother-in-laws, actually, and Tyler, technically. Why couldn't Glenn have said they're evaluating? Yep, dude. Okay, so you're on the same page as me. You were saying this stuff before I did, I believe, but yeah, I'm on the same page as you, Rob. It's bad when we're 7 and it feels like 20. It's bad when we're 7 and it feels like 20. Oh, like 0-7? You're talking about like 7 games through and it's 20? Yeah. No, this game, it's, dude, like realistically, after the Bills game, like after the Bills Bucks game, I was like, okay, like I can kind of see where this is going. And that is being sinister. Is it too early to call it after 2-3 weeks? Yeah, no doubt. But I'm a Jets fan. Like after that week 2 for performance, I'm like, this is not, I don't know how well this is going to work out, you know? So Simpson on the Jets would be a mess, but he can be a star in the right organization. Why do you say that? Yeah, I need context to that, Rob. Hey, Joe, support the channel. Chris. Yeah, I appreciate you, Chris. Thank you. Flacco about to drop. Oh, dude, no doubt, right? Like Flacco's for sure put up 3-4 touchdowns in the Jets, and it's going to be, the Jets had him, and he was a former Jets quarterback or whatever, without mentioning all the other teams he's bounced around from like 2020, 2021, 22, 23, right? He was on the Jets in 19 and 20, 18, 19, 19, 20, something like that, right? I think this is the first Jets game in a while where there wasn't a single thing I'm looking forward to. Really, what you got to do is evaluate the young guys. You got to evaluate Fashion and Tippmann and Membu and, the line, Sherwood. Does Sherwood improve? Malachi Moore. It's about watching the guys who are going to be here in 26, 27, 28. That's what it is. When realistically, when Quincy plays, like, unless they sign up, but like when Quincy plays, am I going to get super excited about him making grid play? Like, obviously during the game, I'll get excited, but like, I don't really care about the guys who are going to be here next year. I don't care about watching Cisco play. He's probably not going to be here. It's all about the young guys right now. That's the thing you look forward to. You can evaluate the young guys because there's plenty of talent on this team that you could still evaluate. It's just, what about it's you don't have a quarterback and you might not have a head coach. So read Jets X Factor articles. Okay, yeah, appreciate that, Chris. Always a big supporter. What's up, Joe? What does Glenn have to do the next 10 games from deserve being back? I don't know. Look competent, really. Like he's running out of time, though, right? Like I don't want to see it for 3 weeks at the end of the season and then be like, okay, yeah, now we're good. Competency, man. Enough with the media stuff. Enough with the time management stuff. Don't say 1 week that you're going to throw a Hail Mary before half and you made a mistake and then come out the next week in the same situation and not do it. Don't go for it on 4th down to then just run out the clock with a fake punt. Like he's been so bad with that stuff. I think he got a little bit of, what was the situation? This game was like 4th and 10 or whatever. It was like 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. The analytics said to go for it there. I would personally have punted it too. Hope your defense can get a stop. They've been playing, decently well. I can't kill them for that one. I understand anybody said who would go for it, but the offense has been so bad. It's just, you're giving them an automatic field goal pretty much at that point. So I can't kill them for that one. Again, just being realistic. I know a lot of people are, Monday morning quarterback that, like, I would have never, but I'll just be realistic. I was fine with punting it. But it's everything else we've talked about. He's been so bad. Like there's not much else to say. What has been positive? There's literally been nothing. He's been an F. He's been an F head coach. There's nothing I can point to. Literally nothing. Devils are nasty. Yeah, man, they're really good. The problem with the Devils is over the last few years is they're a good regular season team. It's just they're not physical enough for the playoffs, but they've been a little bit more on it this year. So yeah, I'm hoping that they can put it together. Because the Nets are probably, I'm a Nets fan. They're probably going to get 17 wins this year. Appreciate that again, Chris. Nets are going to be awful. Mets had one of the biggest collapses you'll see in MLB with the highest payroll, one of the highest payrolls. They were like the 3rd worst team since June or whatever the stat was. That's brutal. So the Devils are really my hope right now. Please God, but hockey's great. I think hockey's my 2nd favorite sport. Basketball used to be my favorite, but I can't watch guys take 4 or 5 steps from center court and dunk the ball anymore. It's just like, please call penalties. If they could, like the 3-point shooting, fine, it is what it is. I prefer, the early 2000s, late 90s stuff, like the early Pistons and that stuff. I like that type of basketball. I understand the 3-point shooting; it's more efficient, whatever. But at least in today's NBA, allow people to play defense and call fouls. Not call fouls. Yeah, call double dribbles, call travels, call fouls. Like it just, if they did that with more consistency, I would be okay with it. But the guys are driving from the 3-point line and not dribbling, and guys consistently double dribble. Consistently, everybody. like, what are you doing, dude? I got called for that in grammar school when I played basketball, but these guys are getting paid. Like, but it's an offensive league in all these leagues. So that's the problem with sports, in my opinion, now today. It's the trying to make it offensive for the sports books, for the casual watchers. Like, I'm completely okay with a 7-6 game. If it's a really good defense, like I'm cool with that. That doesn't excite the normal fan, so it is what it is. But I'm the old 32-year-old, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, this game is over. Are there any good college football games on right now? I don't know. Let's see if there's anything ranked on Fubu. I'm not changing apps. Texas A&M LSU. All right. Oh, that's like the very end. All right. If you met a Jet Scout was the first question. I don't even know, dude. I don't know. Like, can I sit down for a session with you? That's the question I would ask them. Like, I want to sit down. I want to sit down and just see what you see, or how you evaluate, or what you chart. Genuinely, like, I would want to just have a straight sit down with them and just start breaking stuff down and see what they look at. I'm hoping they know a lot more than me. I'm really hoping. Some of their draft picks over recent years, like I can't be 1,000% sure, and it's not just one guy, right? It's a whole. There's area scouts, and they all bring it up to their higher ups and stuff, and it's not just one guy's decision, but some of the decisions they've made. Not really this year. I think this draft class. I even think MUCH, to a certain extent, has gotten a little bit unfairly criticized. I'll just be realistic. Like, there's some talent on this roster. Again, I don't think they should have went balls deep in this free agency, because the free agency class sucked. They spent some money on some guys, but a lot of them are one-year deals. They're trying to figure their roster out. They made some good trades. They had some guys who are hitting late. Maui Noah's flashed, a little bit. I think Arian Smith has got a little bit of an unfair shake just because he's not producing. But minus Garrett Wilson, nobody's really producing in this offense. Mason Taylor looks good. Obviously, Membu looks good. AZ Thomas, we'll see. Huge test this week. The one guy I will say, and I know it's already negative on Jets Twitter, or in Jets land, so why be more negative? The Malachi Moore hype got to die down a little bit. I'm sorry, but that play where he's the middle of the field safety in cover 3, and it takes him forever to match the over route, and the ball is late because Bryce Young has to step up in the pocket, and then he flutters the ball up there because of pressure instead of driving it. If that was on time, he's roasted on that play. And then even with that, the receiver, the ball's in his hands, and he just drops it, and then Malachi Moore like taps it as he's bobbling it. But realistically, if that's on time, he's roasted. So I am not, and listen, I want him to be good, but based on how he's playing, I'm not watching Malachi Moore, specifically in coverage run game. Okay. I think he's been there a little bit in the run game, been a little bit impressive, but in the pass game, he's done nothing to impress me. So I'm just being honest with you guys. I'll never lie. I will not lie 99% of the time. But yeah, player, I'm not. Oh yeah, he's good. Like, that's the easy thing to say, but he's not been good in my opinion. Sorry. Why aren't college quarterbacks taught how to work from behind center more to prepare for the NFL? Well, not all systems, and that's one of my problems with Mendoza. I haven't charted. I don't chart. I can't remember any plays of Mendoza under center, so that's one of my problems. And Mendoza in his offense, like, he's a guy who you want like quick timing, east to west type stuff. Didn't take a lot of deep shots. When he did, I don't think his deep accuracy is great. I think his arm is average for the NFL. And it's very heavy RPO based, like very heavy. So it's not translatable. You just have to be to the right offense. Like, if you're gonna be an offense that's consistently taking deep shots, I don't think Mendoza's for you. But if you're gonna be a more like West Coast timing based, East Coast West offense, RPO mixed in there as well, then I think Mendoza's your guy. Yeah, it's all dependent on the system. Not every team works from under center. Oh, and by the way, thinking of just like offensive stuff now too. Tyrod came in and they ran the ball. What? I'm being maybe dramatic here, but like it felt like 3 or 4 times. Like, they ran the ball 0 times after halftime. It felt like. And they were down like 13-6. So I take the running game completely out of it. So didn't love that, but here we are. I'm a New York Jets fan and a Devils fan in NJ, but that's me. Yeah. Devils, Nets, Jets, all the Ets and the, all the Ets and the Devils for me. Those were great when I was a kid. The problem is, like, They won in, what were the years, like 99, 2001, 2002, whatever, something like that. I was like 9 years old when they were winning, 6, 8, and 9 or something like that. So I didn't really appreciate it, I wish I could have, but still watch highlights and stuff. What's up, Curly? At what point will Glenn pass us 40 or fire field goal? Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. Like even that stuff, like not knowing exactly where you were, like not having it. You have Sean McVay. You can ask like, hey, not even situations like, hey, the 3rd and 8 play from the third quarter in 2018 against the Seahawks. What happened? And he'll tell you exactly what the play was, exactly what happened. And you have Glenn who's like, oh yeah, I don't know, we couldn't have kicked a 75-yard field goal there. It's like it was a 62, and yet you had a guy who made it from 58 comfortably like a week or two before that. Like what? Like, and you're gonna put the game in Justin Fields' hands on 4th and 10 over Nick Folk, who just if you just took the kick, what was the 58-yarder? Who was that against? That was Cowboys or whoever was against. I don't care. These suck. I forget the exact examples. I'm not Sean McVay. If you took that same exact kick that he like, if he just kicked the same power, same everything, he makes the field goal. If he just did the same thing again, he already did it. You trust Justin Fields on 4th and 10 versus the Broncos. Okay. Realistically, I think of Engstrom, I think he's okay. I think he's handcuffed by his quarterbacks, but I also think he's been lacking in some areas. So I think he's been okay, right? Like, is that, I don't mean to be a fence sitter. I know that's not a popular thing to do. It's either the people greater, they're great or they suck. I think he's in the middle, and he's been lacking with some of the quarterback runs and some of the motions. And I want to see a little bit more creativity, specifically on short yardage situations and stuff like that. But you watch this offense and see how many guys are running open, and they're not running wide open, but they're NFL open. And it's so funny. Like some of the plays I wish I could just like, I'm not going to do it because I don't have the time to do it. If I was super petty, I would start bookmarking people who said, oh, Justin Fields, like no way anybody would fit that ball into that window. And then watch some of the plays I'm going to put up of Mendoza and of Simpson and even of Moore and say, okay, you said guys can't fit this ball into this window, and the windows that these guys are hitting are so much tighter than Justin Fields ever even thinks about throwing. So Justin Fields is just a shitty quarterback. He cannot process stuff. And Glenn was a player under Parcells, but he was also a player under Belichick as DC, so that might explain the treatment to the media. It's just unnecessary. It's just unnecessary, man. That's all it is. Just say we haven't made a decision yet. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. It's okay. Just say we don't know. We're making a decision as a staff. We haven't made a decision yet. Okay. All right. Thanks. Next question. But now he makes a whole problem about it. And then the national media gets on him, So it would be such a Jets move for Fields to have a career game. Oh, dude, 100%. That, or he gets injured, Brady Cook comes in and he plays solidly well. And then we're all, questioning who it should be. But yeah, I think the most realistic Jets scenario is that Justin Fields actually plays well. And it's like, oh shit, well, what do we do now? I'm sure obviously they would just stick with him if he played well. But the Bolts game, did they win? What happened when your Bolts played the Devils last week, Eagle? What happened? Tell me. Curious, based on your film in the last 2 games, is defense improving? No, they're improving. They're not blowing as many coverages. That was the main, like their run defense has been relatively solid all year. There's been some missed tackles. There's been some instances where Sherwood's out of position. Now we know he's out of position, all that stuff. But they're not blowing as many coverages. So no doubt it's been better. So I like, it's not a thing where, and I don't know if you have Twitter, Neil, or not, or if you just watch the reviews, or even if you don't, whatever, like even if they blow a coverage, but it's not exploited by the offense, I'll typically put it up and be like, hey, they got lucky as hell right here. There hasn't been that. So they've been more sound in their assignments, which is good. It's not just, oh, they're not playing as good of teams. That's not saying that they're going to continue to be good. I'm turning this light off right here because it is, I don't know if it's like a night thing that's driving my eyes crazy. Okay. You guys are going to deal with me being a little bit darker right now because I don't feel like having that light on. All right. This little overhead circle light, so it makes me look all nice and stuff. Who cares right now? I don't care. I heard the news. Jets embarrassed themselves by 4. Yeah, well, it's not the Jets embarrassed themselves. I am really dark though now. Shit, whatever. Are they embarrassing themselves? I think Woody embarrassed himself. Like, what are you going to do as Glenn? You're going to start Brady Cook at UDFA tomorrow? I don't think you can do that yet. I don't think he's in position to do that. Oh, and incoming, I'm sure. Your Devils have scored more than the Jets offense this week in 7 games. Yeah, no doubt. When's the last time we've seen an end around or jet sweep with Arian Smith? Yeah, I don't know if you have. Maybe once this season. Realistically, Arian Smith he's not the best at that stuff. Like if it's schemed wide open, yeah, you want him because he's fast as hell and he can hit the holes and get vertical. But he doesn't have the best vision. He doesn't have the best shake. He kind of goes down on first contact. So it's not like Arian Smith's Malachi, or is it Malachi? No, it's Malachi Corley or anything like that coming out of college. Like he's not a big yak guy. So I wouldn't necessarily want to do it. I saw some people saying why Lazard on that play on Twitter, on the play where it's thrown deep. It's because he's attached to the line of scrimmage. And if you have Arian Smith attached to the line of scrimmage, the offense is going to be keyed that something's happening there. When you have guys like Lazard, Tyler Johnson attached to the line of scrimmage, they block. So it's not out of the ordinary. Like it's not going to tip off the defense. If Arian Smith's attached to the line of scrimmage or to the offensive line, you're going to be like, something's going on here. So that's the reason they did that, just to clarify. Let's see. Fields' mental processing it's just so bad. His anticipation's awful. His processing's awful. His accuracy is spotty. The only thing that makes him a starting level quarterback is the legs. But then the problem with all of that is, the last few weeks, like he has a knee contusion or whatever it is. It's the easiest opportunity for the Jets to say when he's clearly struggling to say, he's injured. We're going to sit him down for a week to heal him up so he can be in full self. Nope. They keep throwing him out there. Like, I don't know. Kind of weird how Josh Reynolds practiced all this week and then all of a sudden, he misses practice and goes on IR. Did he miss a practice and go on IR? I don't know. I know Mason Taylor was completely fine coming out of the game. Like Aaron Glenn didn't mention anything about him being injured. I didn't see him on the injury report early in the week, and then he must have gotten injured in practice. I think he's playing, I believe. But yeah, now you have Josh Reynolds on IR. You have Garrett Wilson, who I think maybe could have played this week, but you don't want to push it. Why? Why at this point push it? So he's going to sit, but your receivers are Tyler Johnson, Lazard, Arian Smith, Brandon Smith, and there's another dude I'm forgetting right now. Oh, Isaiah Williams. My God. Like at this point, again, I think I'm still be rooting for wins for at least a couple of weeks, but I'll be honest, another 2-3 weeks, I think I might be rooting for the worst record in the NFL or the worst record ever, just so we could clean house. And there's people who are like, oh, you want to start a rebuild again? Does that make sense? Like if it's this bad, do you want to just delay the rebuild another half a year or a year? Like if we end 1-16, 2-15, you have faith that we're not going to rebuild again? Like people are like, oh, we don't want to rebuild again right after this. It's like, well, we might have to. So why delay what's seemingly inevitable? That's conversation doesn't make any sense. We don't want to rebuild again. We'll be just where we were this year. It's like, yeah, no shit. We have a quarterback though, and we hopefully have a staff who can develop him. To complete a pass, it would help to have yeah, of course. Like we said this all offseason that they needed a receiver too. With that being said, are there guys open at times he's not hitting? No doubt. Like undeniably. Again, just look at this game. Even Tyrod, dude. Tyrod in the Bucs game was not good. This game, he missed 2 touchdowns that I am confident that high school quarterbacks can hit. High school quarterbacks. I'm not saying with consistency. I've seen quarterbacks in high school hit 40-yard post. Or like what? Hold on. Where is that? Where is that one play? Just so I could freeze frame it. Like I'm not a good quarterback. I know I could throw a ball 40, 50 yards and I might be able to hit this one. Like Jets, Panthers. What point was that at? A lot of it was Fields. You suck. Okay. Like, dude, he hesitates. Just put it on him. That was just, So like, yeah, we could, receivers can't get open, but also you have guys who are running wide open by 10 yards there, and your quarterback underthrows them by a mile. So I don't know, man. Why do people always play the race card? Yeah, it's just it's the world we live in today. I'm white, he's black, I'm an idiot, and I'm racist because I don't like Justin Fields. It's like, but why do I have a Breece Hall jersey, a Garrett Wilson jersey, a Sauce jersey? I just pick and choose when to be racist. We're so stupid though. I don't even pay attention to it, but yeah, you get that on Twitter, you get that on YouTube. People insinuating stuff. I got the same thing with Thibodeau. When I had questions about his red flags coming out of college, because you hear red flags, people go, "Oh, this is what it is." It's like, okay, dude, fine, yep, that's where we are. Gator McCluskey rules. If Tyrod is out for an extended period of time, who's your quarterback 3? I don't think they do. Like, maybe they bring in a guy in the practice squad. I think Mike White got cut. I think he's a free agent right now. But he has no correlation with the staff, so Brady Cook got elevated. He's your quarterback too. So I think you keep 2 quarterbacks and then some random is on your practice squad. But I don't think they sign a quarterback 3 to be on the roster. Now, if Fields gets injured and Tyrod is injured, then you have to bring in somebody, but I don't think they're going to sign anybody to the active roster, but does anybody really want us to win at this point? It's the question of like, are they going to fire him? If they're going to keep him no matter what, then you want to root for wins to hopefully, again, build some confidence, show us fans that he could hopefully be the coach going forward. But if it's a thing where Woody Johnson's iffy on it, I think at this point it's like, if I had to call it right now, if I had to call it at this moment right now, do you want to fire him or not at the end of the season? Yeah. Like, how can I say anything else at this point at 0-7 and how bad it's been? So, yeah, it's hard. Bring back the franchise. I mean, when he gets out of jail. Oh, down 7. I got you. 410 inch and our Jets offensive struggles. Have they been more about the talent execution than the plays being called? How can we win outside with a 9-man box on offense? It's not about talent. Well, talent from quarterback position. Again, I think he's been, like, if you had a stamp a grade on it, a C+ coordinator. I know first couple of weeks I said like B+. He went downhill from there a little bit. Obviously, you need a larger sample size than 2 or 3 games to judge a guy. So I think he's okay, but obviously the problem is the quarterback, realistically. So it's been about talent. Execution from offensive players. No, not really. The run game is working. Again, those guys running open. Again, look at the play look at that Lazard play. We're talking about a touchdown right there. And obviously the game can shape out differently from that point, but we lost by 7. That's 7 right there. Did they kick a field goal there? They probably kicked a field goal there. So even if, okay, that's an extra 4 points, it's 13-10. And even after that, you have the post to Josh Reynolds that he underthrows by a few yards as well. That's a touchdown. And there's plenty of plays I put up literally every week that there's guys running wide open. So I would say it's about the talent, specifically a quarterback. There's been, again, it's part been execution, it's part been the play calls, but how can we win on the outside with 9-man box on offense? It's about the quarterback consistently delivering and being able to read quickly. Like, if they're going to blitz you, you have to be able to find your answers. Like, hey, you have to be able to find your hot. You have to be confident in your eyes. And Justin Fields isn't. It takes him forever to throw the ball. So when you send 8 or 9, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, they're going to get there. And they do. They've been getting sacked a ton because these quarterbacks can't make decisions. And even Tyrod recently hasn't been making quick decisions. The Bucs game, he was just as bad as Fields was. He was awful in that game. Yeah, I'm not doing the whole fire sale. Like, let's trade Sauce Gardner to hope that we then draft another Sauce Gardner. Like, he's 24 years old. I think you have a conversation about Q. He's 27. I would argue that Q is going to be good for another 4 or 5 years, very good for another 4 or 5 years. I'm not dumping talent to one. You have to pay the talent. You have to pay all this dead money to get rid of these guys, and then you're getting draft picks to then hope that you can get the same level of talent. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? Like, again, and everybody says it, but it's the perfect analogy. The Family Guy thing. Peter Griffin. The mystery box versus the boat. He's like, oh, no, I can't take the boat. I'm going to take the mystery box. It could be a boat. It's like, why are we trading Garrett Wilson or Sauce Gardner, then hope the draft pick is then Sauce Gardner or Garrett Wilson? Again, with Q, I understand it. He's 27 years old, but he's going to be a Pro Bowl, all pro level player for another 4 or 5 years, most likely. So I'm not dumping like a 2nd round pick. I know Connor Hughes put that out there. That'd be the dumbest thing in the world to me to give him for a 2nd round pick. Now, if you're meaning this by Cisco and whoever else on the team minus like those top guys, then I don't understand it. since we were likely drafting a quarterback, how would you strengthen the offense besides the obvious adding receiver 2? What positions on the offense would you well, obviously, yeah, like you said, like you can't say anything but receiver 2. Can I say receiver 3? Can I say receiver 2 and 3 and tight end 2? And then you have to figure out what you're going to do at right tackle, left guard, because Simpson's a free agent and he's been okay this year, but how much money does he want? And then you have AVT who's injured. Like, is it going to be a thing where heavy incentive laden contract? Is it going to be a thing where, hey, 3 season-ending injuries in 5 years? We don't want anything to do with it. Like, great player when you're healthy, great guy, but 2 injured. So obviously it's going to be about the interior offensive line. What do you do there? I would say receiver 2 and 3, and then tight end. Are the spots I'm looking at, because they don't really have a tight end 2. I'm okay with if Rucker gets re-signed as a tight end 3. I think he's been okay enough this year to do that. That's fine. So, shout out to JJ. Those are guys I was going to mention. Eagle, when you're talking about guys who need to, or like fire sale, like I don't want to trade JJ. He's a guy you want to be here because he wants to be here. Like you want guys like JJ and Garrett Wilson to establish the culture. So you don't want to get rid of those guys. Simpsons penalties drove me crazy last week. And Glenn sent a huge message benching him for one play. Yeah. And it's like, you have guys like, and again, it's just like with the conviction, like the lack of like conviction or just the, not even conviction, but like just kind of going back on his word, like, oh, Xavier Gibson over Pritchett. We see everything in practice that you guys don't see from Xavier Gibson. 1 fumble and he gets cut. Oh, Justin Fields, how we can ever bench him? 1/2 and he's benched. The accountability stuff, like you don't hold Clemens accountable when he's doing some of this dumbass shit on the field, but then you bench John Simpson. Was it a play? A play for John Simpson when he's at least an okay offensive lineman. Like he's just all over the place, man. He really is. Yeah, but I don't believe in tanking. Just don't beat Miami. It's kind of tanking. What do you mean by this, Tony, the GM, though? Is it like you don't believe teams tank, or you don't believe in rooting for losses? Because that's kind of like you're kind of in the middle there. I don't believe teams, maybe minus the Jaguars in 2020, because they started making some, I forget exactly the moves because it was 5 years ago, but 2020, 2021, 2020, they started making some wonky roster decisions at the end of the season. I would say 99% of the time, I don't think teams tank. I think there have been examples of it slightly. Especially towards the end of the season when you're really close to that first overall pick. But in terms of like rooting for losses, if you don't, I understand that. And when the game actually starts, I tend to want the Jets to win. But what's best for the Jets at a certain point is getting the first overall pick. Like I don't think winning 3 or 4 meaningless games in the end of November, December, January does much for the team. And then you hurt yourself because let's say the top 3 teams need quarterbacks and you're team 4. And it goes, Mendoza, Simpson, and more, and then you're sitting there at 4, like shit, dude. I don't know. Sellers went back to school, and whoever else is there, we don't like them. We end up taking a freaking D end. It's like, oh my god. So it kind of depends. Like it kind of depends on what you need there exactly. Million, I don't see a point in moving on off of Fields for Tyrod. Week 1, Fields was a franchise quarterback. Coaching has been terrible. Coaching's been terrible. You're blaming Fields' problems on the coaching. I don't know what to tell you, dude. You're just not. You're in denial. You're in denial if you're saying it's the coaching. Like coaching has not been great, but to say it's not Fields' fault, go in the draft for the fit there, something in there. Are you talking about like you want to build around Fields? Okay, and week 1 he was a franchise quarterback. Like it was 1 game. It was 1 game he played well. He's always been a guy who had flashes. And in Pittsburgh, he wasn't really better. In Pittsburgh, he played around a better team, better coaching a little bit. But if you watch those games, he's not the reason they were 4-2. Like they barely put up points. They were holding teams to like 13, 16 points in those games. Fields was not good. And you could say, it's hearsay when you say, I say, oh no, he was bad. And you say, oh no, he was good. I put out full blown reviews of him. You're not going to watch them, but I'm sure people have here. He was not good. Get into college bad. I don't really like college sports, David. I like the environment of college sports, but I don't like the lack of quality it is. And I know, NBA and football and stuff, like they can suck and miss shots too, but like watching college football, I remember going to Notre Dame and watching Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. I'm like, this is so, and it's not like Jets games aren't boring, but I'm like, this is just brutal, dude. Brutal. Just handoff. I don't know. Do you think Linderbaum, like Tyler Linderbaum, hits the market? I'm not a Ravens guy. I have no idea. That would just be pure me guessing. I miss having players like, of course, dude. Scott Stevens was absolutely disgusting. My favorite player ever was actually Patrick Eliash. I love him, but yeah, him and like Ravolsky and all those guys are just so good back in those days. Michigan, yeah, I'm not even watching, so I'm talking to you guys. Joe, you're not 32. I am 32. I am definitely 32, no doubt. This is worse than 2020, 1996. I was 3 when 1996 happened, so I can't speak on it. I can tell you this is easily worse than 2020 to me, because again, and I've said it already. 2020, you knew Gase was getting fired. You knew your draft. Basically, the difference is you knew Gase was getting fired, and also with that roster didn't have nearly the talent this roster had. So now this year, you're going to draft the quarterback again, but you're not sure the coach is getting fired, and you have better talent, so it makes it worse. Like 2020, you're running out like Brashad Perryman and Andre Roberts and Robbie Anderson and Frank Gore. It's like, okay, with like the 30th, 31st ranked offensive line in the league, it would just, we expected it to be that bad this year. This year, I think most sports books had us at 6-7 wins. So I think most fans had us at 6-7 wins, and I would say fans generally go a winner above or win or two above the sports book. So sports books had us at 6. Most fans had us at 7. After the ABT injury, I lowered us to 6 games. And they might not even hit 2, So, yeah, this is the worst year. It is. Now, even 2023, you have the excitement going into it, but at least in 2023, it's like, hey, build up the roster. Rodgers is back in 2024, so there was hope there. This year, the hope is the young quarterback, but is this the staff? Like the entire year, I'm going to be asking myself, is the staff going to get fired? Is the staff going to get fired? So, whatever the Jets scouts saw in Fields was exaggerated, or Angstram's play calling and system is bad for Fields. I think most systems are bad for Fields, a really slow runner. Like, I'll be honest, you watch the read option stuff and he can't run read option well. Like, he doesn't read it well. If you want him to do RPO stuff, fine, but it takes a quick processor to run RPO, and he's the exact opposite of that. So I don't think RPO would work out very well from him. He can't throw it short because he can't make decisions quickly. He can't throw it deep or intermediate or anything. So like, what do you do with Fields? It's a hard, damn, it is really, I guess I gotta put this light on. It is super freaking dark. Yeah, it's just, I think every system's pretty bad for him, to be honest. Now, do I think they could have used him more as a runner? Yeah, sure. But then they also had a situation where, you also have a situation where he has a contusion on his leg, so he can't run. He says he's not, he's feeling the injury a little bit. So like, what do you do? So this is, I'll disagree here a little bit. Muji should be fired based on his scouting of Fields, and you can raise him to a great quarterback. I don't think the Jets came into this now. I think maybe Glenn was a little bit overzealous with some of the comments about how great he could be and stuff. But realistically, I didn't have a problem with the signing because he was the only guy in free agency who had the even though it's slight, the opportunity to be a long-term quarterback, right? Like we talked about that. It wasn't, I said 5 to 10% chance from the jump. That's not me now. I said 5 to 10% chance. And in my head, I was leaning more towards 5. But there was no quarterback out there who could be a long-term guy. So they probably overpaid him, but I get taking the dart throw on a guy, that could work out potentially long-term. Like, what do you want to like trade for Cousins, or who do you want to sign? So I don't think they signed him with the idea of him being a great quarterback. Now, do I think Aaron Glenn coming out after and saying, we're going to coach him or we're going to let him play quarterback, like kind of insulting the Steelers and Arthur Smith and the Bears a little bit? I think that's a dumb move. He's done that. Even that, like, I didn't even think about that. He's done that with Will McDonald too, saying the whole, we're going to let him, coaching. We're going to let him, we're coaching him to like do the bull rush stuff. And he's been effective, but not overly effective. So he just like, there's no reason to criticize the last staff. There's no reason when you're brand spanking new and you haven't coached a game yet to criticize the Steelers and saying we're going to let him play quarterback. Like, that's why it didn't work out, or, something to that effect. So, yeah, but in terms of like, I don't think he should be fired for signing Justin Fields, because I agree with it. So then call me an idiot too. Who else did you want to bring in realistically? Did they overpay him? Sure, a little bit, but I don't know. To when we talk about the downfall of ESPN this week. I'm not sure what that means. You should ask the stat why as our organization continues to draft and sign imbeciles like Fields who do not have the brains to read a defense. I just talked about it with Eagle. It's because he was the only guy who could potentially work out long term. He was the only guy who had an over 1% shot to work out long term. Again, who are the free agent quarterbacks in 2024? Let's see. Free agent quarterbacks 2024. No, it's not. I don't know if it's really going to tell me on these websites, but like, and that's the point. That's my point is that who else was out there? Like realistically, who else did you want to sign? You could have said, oh, go in the season with Tyrod, but sure, if you were to tank the season from the start, like I get it, but you want to inject some life, and I get as a new coach trying to see if you can take Fields and mold him into something, but obviously it's not working, Okay, yeah. When last week we talked about the downfall of ESPN, this week we're talking about the NBA gambling cases. Steven, I don't want to get political here, but Stephen A. Smith is a buffoon. With experienced coaches like Wilkes and Glenn, why is our zone pass defense so bad? I don't know, dude. I've had this conversation quite a bit, specifically on Jake's show, like people asking that. It's really hard to know without knowing what they're coaching, not knowing what they're coaching, but how effective is their coaching? How are the players taking the coaching? Because there's such obvious assignments that they're blowing that I think it's players. And you have guys like Andre Sisco was volatile in Jacksonville. Quincy Williams was volatile with the Jets last year. Sherwood was volatile with the Jets last year. He played better, but he's still volatile in pass coverage. So part of it's part of it is some of the guys on the second level just aren't the most disciplined players. But it's a loaded question because we're not in the meeting rooms, right? Like what exactly are they telling them? I don't know. They've been better though, so that's fine. Who's your favorite college quarterback coming out this year? This is such a loaded conversation. It really, really is, because I think Mendoza has the higher floor than Simpson. Simpson to me easily has the higher ceiling. Mendoza doesn't. His arm is okay at best, in my opinion. It's average, which I don't think that's really a problem at all times, but it's an average arm. There's some times you see it flutter a little bit. The deep accuracy is not great. It's heavy RPO based, heavy, from shotgun, nothing under center really. If anything, I really don't remember seeing anything under center. Maybe there's a play or two I missed, maybe even like a run play, but like passing from under center, I really haven't seen any of it, I don't think. Simpson, the thing that scares me about Simpson is he gets a little panicky versus pressure. There's some times where he could step up in the pocket where instead he escapes the pocket completely. There's some times where like he would hit a route. Let's say if he's in a clean pocket, he would hit a certain route, but then versus pressure, that same route he won't hit. So he could panic a little bit versus pressure, but he moves a lot better than Mendoza. He played a lot harder talent than Mendoza. He made more wow plays, or he makes more wow plays to me than Mendoza. You can use him as a runner a little bit. Mendoza, you're not going to do that. Like Mendoza, I think he's a guy who's functional running. Like he can get out of the pocket a little bit and run, but he's definitely not a great athlete in terms of running. His accuracy can start to get a little bit wonky when he gets out of the pocket, because he's just not the most like loose, twitchy athlete in the world. I love Simpson's. His trigger is really, really quick. His release is really, really quick. Mendoza's is pretty quick too, not as quick. But the thing with Mendoza over Simpson for me, in terms of like the translation to the NFL level, is he's more willing to stand in the pocket and take a shot. I'm not saying that Simpson's not, but he can roll out quickly when he has a clean pocket, even when he has a clean pocket at times. So that's the thing that scares me about him, is you're going to see some pressure at the NFL level. And he doesn't handle it the best now. But then you have Mendoza. Like, is he worth the first overall pick because of the average arm, the not great movement skills, and his accuracy is generally very good. He's very good at layering balls. He's very good at anticipation. Both of them are. There is some instances of him missing some passes, and it's specifically because his lower half isn't always great. So I want to see his mechanics improve. There's some times where there's very little things that's very nerdy that I'll get into in the actual reviews, but there's some times he gets a little bit toesy, and instead of driving off the back instep, he drives off the back toe, and it doesn't allow the hip to really pull through. and generate power. Sometimes the front foot's closed off. There's like little things that can lead to some inaccuracies. But I just like, he feels like his ceiling is limited. Like, and I hate player comparisons, but he feels almost like a Jared Goff, like Kirk Cousins level type of player. I'm not saying they're bad quarterbacks, like we'd sign up for them, but is that worth the first overall pick? But again, he operates on time. He's really quick at he's a good processor. He goes through his reads smoothly. I think both Simpson and Mendoza are guilty of going for too much at times. There's some times where, like, let's just say, for sake of being simple, like the flat is open and they try to hit the dig, or they hang on to the dig for too long and take a sack. So they can both take a sack sometimes because they're looking for too much. But the thing that is concerning to me with Simpson over Mendoza is the panic in the pocket and the panic versus pressure, where Mendoza is better than that, or better in those situations. It's just, do I like the ceiling of Mendoza? Like, he's the safer player, but Simpson is just such a better athlete. He really is. He moves a lot better. He runs a lot better. He's a lot more twitchy. The release is quicker. Some of those throws that Simpson makes are ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes he has to chill on that. He will put hospital balls up there, and his receivers just get rocked because of him. But some of the tight window throws he makes are amazing. I think he makes more wow level throws than Mendoza. Mendoza's a little bit more consistent as a passer. Ceiling's limited. Like, it's such a long conversation. I've been thinking about it so much. Right now, like, if I had to make the pick, and then also, again, consider that, like, let's see, like, look at the teams. So I have my whole notes on them. So, like, Mendoza has played Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Iowa. Okay, Iowa, Oregon, Michigan State. Okay, I didn't watch Michigan State yet. I watched all the other games. Look at Simpson. Florida State, Louisiana, Monroe. Okay. Wisconsin, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri. Like, he's playing really, really good teams and producing and coming back late and stuff. And there's some games of Mendoza. Like, if you want to watch the bad of these guys if you want to watch the bad just to see the floor, like, you want to see the floor as well. You don't want to watch just the good games. Vanderbilt, I think so far, has been Ty Simpson's worst game to me. And Mendoza, the first two games I watched, Old Dominion and Kennesaw State, versus like not great talent, I was kind of like, like, I get him being a first round pick, but a top 10 pick, I didn't see it. And then Indiana State, I think Indiana State is probably the best game that anybody's had with the quarterbacks. But, like, look at what Ty Simpson did. And I'm not going to say it's as consistent, but, like, what Ty Simpson did against Georgia, what he did against Missouri in a tighter game. Even Florida State, he didn't have great numbers, but he wasn't bad in that game. The thing about Mendoza too is, I know he's playing smaller schools and stuff, and I'm getting into so many different things because I just watched these guys. So there's a million thoughts in my head. Mendoza's offensive line was garbage. It was garbage. But Simpson's also, he has a better offensive line. But he's been the victim of some drops from his receivers, actually, which you wouldn't expect. Like Georgia, I think it's like the second or third play of the game, or at least the first drive of the game, he hits one of the receivers, what should be like a 50-yard touchdown. The receiver drops it, like right into the bucket, and he drops it. So it's a very long-winded conversation. Like, what type of offense are you playing? Are you playing an East-West, West Coast timing-based quick offense? Or going to be an offense that's a little bit more standard? You take a little bit more deep shots, things like that. I haven't answered the question yet. Simpson, if I'm the number one pick right now to make the pick absolutely right at the second, and Simpson scares me because of the pressure. So it's like bringing me back to some Zach Wilson stuff with rolling out too quickly and stuff. It's just the ceiling, man. It's the ceiling. He has more anticipation than Zach Wilson does. There's more ballsy throws in there that work out than Simpson does. Again, Mendoza concerns me a little bit with the deep balls, like back shoulder throws. He's not great at that timing. There's some balls he underthrows badly deep. So I think he's relatively limited. Again, Simpson scares me specifically because of the pocket stuff, leaving the pocket too early. Like, let me pull up. No, I'm not going to pull up his plays for you guys, but I'm going to try to like pull up some of his plays just so I can kind of start talking about him on memory of like what these plays were. Struggle versus blitz, bad sack on 3rd and 3. Like, yeah, there's some time, like, and both of them do this. There's both some times where they could take the underneath and they go for too much and they take a sack. Mendoza's guilty of that as well. The biggest concern from Simpson is the blitz. He gets a little bit uneasy. I think Mendoza's a guy you could play pretty early, if not like week 1. Simpson's a guy I would really want to sit just because he's a little bit more raw, or he's more raw. I don't know, man. It's so hard. It is so hard with quarterbacks, but it's kind of like, what do you value? Again, to me, Simpson, number 1 pick, because of the ceiling at this point. It's not like Mendoza is somebody who never makes mistakes, never holds onto the ball and takes a sack. There's instances of him taking sacks. He's very accurate, but he's not deadly accurate. There are some times where he can miss a throw. Specifically deep, I don't see it there. The arm strength is limited. Again, I think he's an average thrower of the football, which is okay in certain systems, not in others. So, yeah, man. He doesn't move the best. Like, he's functional where like he'll roll out and throw it on the run, but the accuracy wanes. He's not as loose and twitching. He can't like flip his hips as quickly and stuff as both Moore and Simpson. So I'm concerned about him. Like, okay, when the play does break down, he has to get out of the pocket. Is he gonna be able to roll away from guys at the NFL level? Not with consistency. Are you ever gonna design a play like a read option for him in the NFL level? Probably not, unless it's like one a game just to really throw the team off. Simpson, he's a guy you have to be disciplined in your rush, because if he takes off, he's not Lamar Jackson, but he can run. He can run. So, like remember, like, and I have to watch Zach Wilson's scrambles, but like Zach Wilson can run. Like, remember how Zach Wilson can run in college? Like, it's not a direct comparison, but it's more like that with Simpson, where he can move. Like, I would say I think he's even more quick twitch and fast than Zach Wilson. It's such a hard question. So it took me 10 minutes. I think I just talked about it for 10, 15 minutes, and I went all over the place just because, again, I just watched 6 games of each of them. So there's so many things running through my mind right now where I really got to sit down. I got to make my list of strengths and weaknesses, even though I know generally what they are. Why is my... Oh, okay. Jeez, dude. I didn't mean to do that. I was checking my camera. So I want to see something funny. I was just checking my camera, and I saw my dog outside, but I realized I was playing a video from the past. You see that little... I was playing a video, and I was like, why is my dog outside right now? I was like, oh shit, I got to run upstairs. My dog got out, but we're good. I was watching an old video. Hard to line up for a 60-yard. Yeah, at that point. Yeah, did he see it? It said 68-yard field goal? Like, no, it's a 62, dude. Full kid at 58-yarder. Yeah, okay, so Miami. And by a few, yeah, I think he had like 5 yards there, plus these new kicking balls, something I talked about last week, Rob. The kicking balls are doctored, so 60 isn't fit. No doubt, dude. Folk was a guy who would be like good from low 50s and stuff, like mid 50s to high 50s. You'd be really concerned, but everybody's hitting new highs this year. You're right. Long 50 is now like a long 60. It really is. It really, really is. Wasn't there a preseason game where like the Carolina Panthers kicker made like a 65-yard field goal or a 67-yard field goal, right? Kicker made long field goal preseason NFL 2025. What was that kick? Cam Little, 70 yards, dude. Jaguars, 70-yard field goal. What's the longest? 64, 65? Like, the doctoring of the ball has at least added 5-6 yards on everybody. So, I know, Eagle. If you were here last, I don't know if you were here last week or not, but I talked about it because obviously I know you're a Lightning fan, and the Devils always get whooped by them. I admitted that they've been getting crushed by the Lightning recently, so it felt nice to handle them relatively well. They beat them pretty bad that game, but no, I trust me, I recognize that. Yeah, there was that one play with him. Mets, Jets, and Isles. I'm never seeing a championship. Mets, realistically, you might, because Steve Cohen's dedicated. Like we're gonna have the top 3 payroll as long as he's the owner. And based on the fact that he's a fan, he's gonna be the owner until forever, Just knowing our luck, Shedeur is gonna make his debut versus us. Fine. Yeah, right. And then he comes in and dominates. Let him, man. I don't know. My concern with the Browns is not their offense. My concern with the Browns is their defense versus Justin Fields or Tyrod. That's a concern. Like, it might be like a 6-3 game. Why don't the Jets explore trade? He's already a better quarterback than Fields. Have you watched Anthony Richardson? I don't think he is. He's really, really bad too. They're both really. I'd say Anthony Richardson is even worse than Fields. He's not good. Did Adams want to return to the Jets without Rodgers? The answer is no. He wasn't coming back without Rodgers. There's no way. Mike White. Oh, he did. South Carolina. Mike White's definitely a better quarterback than Fields. Yeah, like, hey, a game for my life. Mike White or Justin Fields, I'm probably taking him. Too bad Archie Manning. And this is the point of, like, literally every single season, the top quarterbacks, the top receivers, whoever it is, there are guys who go from first round picks to 6th round picks in a month or two. Again, remember, the top of the draft this year was supposed to be Arch Manning, right? Like, everybody. And again, I'm not a college football guy, so, like, I couldn't be like, oh, well, I saw it coming, so I didn't. But everybody was Arch Manning, Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. It was Sellers from South Carolina. It was Klubnik from Clemson, and it was Allard from Penn State. Those are the top 5. None of those guys are in the top 3 now. You have Sellers, who is a top, he's probably the 4th or 5th or wherever you want to put him, whatever. I don't know if I'm going to watch him, to be honest, because if the Jets are the number 1 pick, based on everything I'm hearing about him, it doesn't seem like he's realistic. So I'll focus on the 3 guys I'm focusing on. If they drop a little bit and they can pick quarterback 3 or 4, whatever, then obviously I'll start watching the 4th, 5th, 6th guys. But remember that. It's just crazy. Like, every year, the next class, it's like, okay, yeah, the top 5 guys 2 months ago are no longer in the top 3. Nobody was saying Mendoza. Nobody was saying Simpson. Nobody was saying Moore in the top 3. Nobody. And now they're all there. Neil says, what positions on defense could we improve via free agency? Safety. You're going to need another linebacker next to Sherwood and edge. Yeah, I think you nailed it there. I think you have your slot corner in Brownlee. Stevens going to be here. He played well this week. Both Stevens, Sauce, and Brownlee played well. Brownlee got pancaked a couple times in the box. It's going to happen. He's 190 pounds. They all played well in this game. But yeah, I think that's perfect. Free safety. I would argue 2 safeties. I don't love Malachi Moore as a starter yet. I'll be honest. It's not even love. I don't even like him as a starter yet. He has to prove a lot more to me in coverage. So at least 1 safety. You're going to need a linebacker unless it's Maui Noah. It depends if Maui Noah plays well over the next 10 weeks. My problem with him is, even if he's good in the run game, in college at least, he's been dreadful in the past, and he's blown a few coverages this season as well. So do you want 2 guys who are pretty bad in coverage next to each other, or is he more of like a support type player? I don't know. But yeah, I would say free safety, linebacker, and edge. I think you're spot on there. Spot on. Harrison Phillips is back next year. Briggs is back next year. So I think you're relatively fine there. This team can't lose enough. That's kind of where I'm at, man. Like, do I even want to root for? Like, am I excited if the Jets win on Sunday? I don't know, because if they go back to sucking and stuff, then now we're not the first pick, and not to be concerned about that. Like, I really don't know how to root for anymore. Like, I'm already at that point, and I don't know. I'm not still liking these quarterbacks as a can't miss prospect. No way. None of them. Again, they all have their issues. You could say Simpson versus pressure. You could say the lack of true, like, elite upside from Mendoza. None of them are like slam dunk first overall picks, if they are, in my opinion. But neither was Cam Ward. Like, based on what I watched last year of Cam Ward, I think I was about to do a review. And obviously, I've watched thousands of plays since then, so it's hard to necessarily remember. I think I would take both Simpson and maybe even Mendoza over Ward. Maybe Ward over Mendoza just because of the ceiling, but I would take Simpson over Ward. And I'm assuming that Simpson continues to play this way. The thing with Simpson is, again, the pressure, and he started like 7 games, and that's concerning. So you have to sit him. The highest floor at quarterback, that's Mendoza. Mendoza has the highest floor, and it's specifically because he's more willing, and both of them are willing to step into the blitz and throw the ball. It's just the fact that Mendoza will stand in the pocket versus the blitz, and he can't escape as much as Simpson could, and that's obviously a part of it as well, because he knows he can't get out, and Simpson knows he can for the most part. But I'm more comfortable with him versus pressure. So that's the thing. Like, but the lack of ceiling there. Quinnen should be traded, but you're in a top 10 pick. You're probably not getting a top 10 pick. I just don't think it's going to work out. I don't think you're getting a top 10 pick, because the problem is, what top 10 team is going to trade for a guy who's 27 years old? Nobody's going to do that if they're not trying to make a playoff push. You're going to see teams do that, like, whoever's the top 10 teams in the NFL right now, whatever teams it may be. Obviously, we know what the top teams are, but I'm just talking about teams with need as a D tackle. Obviously, like the Cowboys were interested in him potentially for Parsons. They got Kenny Clark, Cowboys or whoever. I don't know. Now, the quarterback on the team right now is the highest ceiling is Cook. Sure, I guess, because he's a complete unknown. But in terms of like actual ceiling, it's Fields. When Fields is playing very well, he's the best because of his throw power and because of the legs. But it's just, you're not going to get there. Like, if you don't have the ladder and you're in a cathedral, does it matter how high the ceiling is if you can't reach it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you need the ladder. So Fields is, is a step stool, and the ceiling is 40 feet high. So it doesn't really matter, right? I don't know if that analogy has ever been, out there, but yeah, that's kind of what made me think of. I guess if I had to say, I think they move, like, if I had to say right now how many guys they move, I would say 2. I'd say 2.5 is the over-under. I think the 3 real, and like minus, and again, if they trade bottom of the roster guys for 7th round picks, whatever, but I think it's really Quincy, Breece, and MC2 are the guys you're looking at to potentially trade. Past that, I don't think they get rid of anybody. I think it's going to be 2 of those 3 who go. But it depends. I really don't think there's a way Quincy's back here. But if it's a thing where they like Breece and they want to build, they want to build an offense with him and Garrett Wilson, the good offensive line for the rookie quarterback coming in next year, I can understand it. They would just have to approach him and say, "Hey, what is your price? Like, 2-year deal, $20 million. Are you cool with it? Okay, you're cool with it. Cool, fine, sign him." But if you go to him and says, "No, this place sucks. The only way I'm going to stay here because of how shitty this team is and how high the taxes are. I want $18 million a year." Then adios. Get whatever you can for him. So there's more nuance than just, trade him or not trade him. It's is he willing to sign a contract here? If he's not, I'm not losing him for nothing. If he says, "No, screw you guys, you suck, take a 5th, I don't care." But if he's willing to sign here, then okay, we start some contract conversations, maybe a little bit, and if somebody blows you out of the water with a 4th and change or something like that, then you take it. What would you want in return if you were to trade Q, JJ, and Will McDonald hypothetically? Q, I would say it's my eye. I got something in my eye. It's going to be a late first, most likely. And again, I'm not really trading Q. Obviously, I can be blown out of the water, but I think living in the world of realism, I think Q is like a 1st and a 3rd or a 4th with maybe like a young player is what I would want to trade him. JJ. Why? I don't want to entertain it really, because you're not going to get enough for him because he's been injured. I would want like a 2nd round pick for JJ if they're going to trade him. I don't think they're going to get that. I just don't think it's worth it. And same thing for Will McDonald, like a 2nd round pick and maybe some change for Will McDonald. I just don't think I don't know if they love him because of the lack of size and the lack of ability in the run game, but he has a ceiling of a high teen sack guy. He really does. The problem is, and specifically, the last couple of weeks, he's not been good. The first couple of weeks, he was winning. The ball was out so quickly, though. So, I'm not just so willing to give up on Will McDonald. I'm not. He has so much talent. He really does. It's just he's one dimensional. If he doesn't fit, he doesn't fit. But I would say 1st and a 3rd or a 4th and some change, a 2nd and some change. Because Will McDonald's controllable for another 2 years. Yeah, maybe a 2nd, 1st and change, 2nd. You're not going to get that for JJ, though. You're not going to 2nd. I don't think you're getting a 1st and change for Q either. But I miss Josh McCown's Jets team. Yeah, dude, that team was fun, right? That was 2017. They got rid of Morton, who's now cooking with the Lions. That was the dumbest move they ever did. Getting rid of Morton for Bates, who was hiking in the mountain for 2 years. They were putting up 30-point games with Josh McCown and absolutely nobody on offense. I don't understand. I didn't understand moving on from him. Are they just going to trade AVT? Teams are interested. Why would they be interested? Why would they? For what reason? He's injured and he's a free agent next year. If you could take a 7th round pick for him, sure. If you're not going to sign him, but why would teams want to trade for a guy who's injured for the year and going to be a free agent? That doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. I'm sorry. Whoever said that is, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. What's up, Wild Shoe? Wild Shoe, is that like a Pokemon or something? What's your picture right there? I can't see. If the Jets traded Brees for a fifth, I will vomit. Again, if you go to him and say, "Hey, we're interested in re-signing," he says no, then why not? You're not getting a comp pick for him. He's not getting a big enough contract, and they have like $80 million in free agency. So they're gonna the money they spend is gonna offset. You know, I don't want Miami. Yeah, we have to worry about Miami and the Titans. I think are our biggest competitors for that pick. Saints, Miami's, and Miami and Titans, because let's see the NFL schedule this week and see if they're going to win games. I'm at that point where, I'll be honest, man. I think I'm kind of like, again, and I am not one of the podcasters to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like politically correct and like worry about what you guys think overall. Like I'm kind of leaning towards like I almost want them to lose games now. So I'm like starting to watch these quarterbacks, and I'm like kind of strong on my convictions. Where like if I want Simpson or Mendoza, like I just don't want them to win 3, 4, 5 games. Now if they're going to rip it off and win 5, 6 games, then fine. Like okay, I can live with it. But Dolphins are playing the Falcons. All right, Saints are playing the Bucks. Okay, Colts are playing the Titans. Yeah, they're probably all going to lose. Are those the only teams with the one win, or the NFL Tankathon? Who has? It's just crazy that we're here. It really is. We were already here for weeks anyway. Yeah, Titans, New Orleans, Miami. Yeah, okay, the one. Cleveland, Vegas, Giants, Arizona, Houston with 2 wins. We have a harder strength of schedule from the Dolphins. So if they win and we lose, we're the second pick. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like I'm kind of almost just rooting for the first pick. It's so bad. It's so bad right now. I don't like to say that, but I cannot see with how bad. If we were closer, if instead of Glenn's been an absolute F- coach and he's then been like a C-, and I see some potential, I think I'd feel differently. But I just think they're so far gone at this point. I don't know, man. It's hard I hate saying that because I do, because I'm a fan. I want them to win, but what is the point right now? I was 1,000% out on Zach Wilson pre-draft. I'm 1,000% out on Simpson for the same reasons. Well, what you're saying, the pressure stuff? Because Simpson plays against much better talent, and he's had some clutch moments against huge teams. He processes better. He throws with more anticipation than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson probably had a better arm. Zach Wilson's arm is ridiculous. It's a very, very good arm, but it's not the same. He's not playing at BYU. He's playing against, Missouri and all these really good teams. So coming back, it's not the same prospect. You can't, like, guys struggle with pressure. You even at times Mendoza does. There's times where Mendoza, it's not always the same, but Mendoza can be over aggressive and take a sack versus pressure sometimes, like, again, different, but he can't get the ball out because he can't move quick enough and then load up the ball and throw it. He gets inaccurate. So, you have to be giving more here. You have to be more here, Tony, the GM. You can't just say for the same reasons, because they're different players. Like, what exactly? And I guess you're just going to say just pressure, but started 7 games, and there's times where he gets pressured and making stupid throws, like in terms of good. Joe, we're the Jets. We have to overpay free agency to come here. Yeah, no doubt. And you also, and again, it's been something I've been on for years at this point. How is it? And I don't know exactly the actual, like, the monetary differences. Like, I can't nail it down to a percentage, but if you play in a tax-free state in Miami or Texas, and you play 8 home games, like, your games are based on the state you play in, right? So if you play 8 games, let's say you make $1 million a game, you're making $17 million a year, you're making $1 million a game. If you play 9 of your games at home, you're getting that $9 million. And maybe there's like a little bit of funds taken out, I don't know. But let's just say for simplicity, that you get $9 million. You play those 9 games in New Jersey, you're getting taxed. I don't know exactly what is the NFL, state, whatever, 20%, 30%. So that $9 million in Texas might be 6 and with the Jets. So it's just crazy how they don't adjust that and, like, make it all one round number, because to play in Miami or Texas, you have such a big advantage over teams in LA and in New York. It's just, I don't understand how they allow that to happen. It really, really is bullshit. It really is. That's pissed me off for a long time, but that's how it works. So we do have to overpay people because of that, and the fact we're the Jets. If this regime stays, even if we get that's what I've said, Rob. I don't know. How do we trust it? How do we trust them developing the guy? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they'll get Simpson. They'll quote ruin him. He'll go to another team and have success like Sam Darnold. Mendoza's safe. Dante Moore. Simpson's ceiling is higher to me than Dante Moore. Dante Moore does not. I don't think he moves as well. I think he moves relatively well. But his arm is not what they are. He's not as accurate as they are either. Like there's times where Simpson and Mendoza are deadly accurate. Moore's short accuracy at times is concerning. I do think Moore has the most consistent touch and accuracy on deep balls, like where he places it. Again, consistency, not wow throws. But the short accuracy stuff is not there all the time. The processing stuff is not there all the time. He has the same problem versus the blitz a little bit. He could struggle, start throwing off the back foot. I wouldn't say elite for Dante Moore. I think Moore could be plus average if developed right. I think Simpson can be very, very good. Very, very good. But with Mendoza, like maybe sniffing the top 10. Which I would take. Like if you can guarantee me, hey, Mendoza gonna be the 12th best quarterback in football, then yeah, sign me up. But I don't think it's a lock either. Like he's not an absolute slam dunk safe prospect. Like he's the safest, but doesn't mean he's safe necessarily. So hopefully our New York Jets can win some out. Maybe. I don't know. Joe Blewett already is on scouting college quarterbacks before November. This is so sad. Yeah, dude, 118 plays I've recorded already. I've watched all of their seasons so far. I have 2 more games to watch. There was one game I couldn't get of more, but I only have to watch. Well, now 2 more games, but I have to watch Tennessee for Simpson and whoever they played today, and then for Mendoza, I got to watch Michigan State and then whoever they played today. I know they blew out. Was it UCLA today? Who did Simpson play today? I don't know. I forget, but. 17-16 Jets. I don't know how. I don't know how. My problem, one of my concerns too is Stevens has been good for 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks now. The one thing he struggles with is jump balls, vertically specifically. If he gets matched up on T. Higgins, that is his biggest weakness. But he's been good in terms of. The contract, he's put up the contract the last 3-4 weeks, like no doubt. He's been a solid corner too the last 4 weeks. He really has. Danger zone, what is up, dude? Still sees danger zone. I haven't seen Daniel Murphy in here anymore. Maybe he's under a different name or something like that. But I get it. Podcast now. Now Dan is too big for the podcast. It's all good. It's all good, Dan. I see you, even though I don't. But go check out Dano. I've been on their show a few times. They're all right. They fill time if you're bored. I'm kidding, Dano. Dano's a good dude. Go check him out. Carson Beck too. That was the year before though. I mean, he fell off. There's so many quarterbacks who just out of nowhere, Okay, I'm rolling through. Drop some more questions. I'll stay on for 13 more minutes. If there's more questions, I got like 10 minutes left to go through questions. We will see Jordan Tyson from Arizona State to put next to Garrett Wilson, then take a quarterback in round 2 and sign a better quarterback. Why are we passing on a quarterback for a receiver? I'd rather do the opposite. I'd rather take the best quarterback available and then draft the best receiver in round 2. Quarterback is much more important in my opinion. Now obviously it depends on where they are and all that stuff, but flip that for me. I don't want to take a quarterback high. I'd rather draft the best wide receiver. Why? What is the thinking there? You'd rather have the safer, higher ceiling receiver than a quarterback? You think receiver is more important than quarterback? I don't understand the logic there. Our quarterback is coming out in 2027. You don't think they're taking one this year? Sharon McLean? We're going to skip a quarterback this year? What are we doing? We're going to re-sign Tyrod for a year and just absolutely suck again? If anything, especially if it's a new staff, they're running a quarterback. A new staff's not going to come in and say, hey, first, second, third overall pick, we're not taking a quarterback. And this staff is not going to do that either, because they're not going to they're not going to go into next offseason and say, okay, we're going to skip on the quarterback and hope that we do well enough to not get fired. They're going to try to attach themselves to the quarterback so they don't get fired. So Miami plays the Jets, Saints, still fun. Those games may be huge, dude. The Jets play the Miami late in the season. They play the Saints late in the season. Those may be for the first overall pick. So, tankathon, Double whammies, practice squad. Yeah, I know he got cut. I didn't see him get signed by the Panthers, but here we are. Actually, I did. I forgot, transparently. I did remember the Panthers. I'm like, oh, we just played them, Mike White. I remember doing that. And probably just because like Jets Panthers week, I'm probably getting more Panther fans interaction. So I'm sure my algorithm is a little bit more leaning towards Panthers. So I saw it, but I forgot. If this staff is one and done, I wonder what he would go after. Maybe a Kingsbury or McCarthy to develop a young offense, young quarterback they bring in. Yeah, I definitely am leaning towards an offensive guy. Yeah, I would want an offensive guy. Like I would be maybe okay with Flores, but I don't even love Kingsbury. I think he's generally been overrated. Now he was a part of like developing Mahomes with Texas Tech and with Murray, who's at least an okay quarterback. Like he's been around with Jaden Daniels with the Commanders, so I understand it. I still don't love him. McCarthy, I think he's a solid, like he's almost like Mendoza to me as a quarterback prospect. Like the ceiling I think is limited, but the floor is high. So he may make you a respectable organization. And then the other guy I'd be interested in is if the Browns continue to fail and they fire Kevin Stefanski, like let him try it again. Went to the playoffs, I believe, twice with the Browns. So I would be willing with that. He's an offensive guy. So I think that would be like if Stefanski's fired, it'd probably be my first choice. But we'll see. Again, the guys will get fired. Guys will raise up the ranks. There'll be guys coming out. I definitely want offense though. That's for sure. Simpson played South Carolina. Okay. Yeah. Was it a relatively close game? I think like they had to like come back late or something like that. Jinx Jets fans. I think they'd come back late. Again, I'll watch all these games going forward. And then the fourth quarterback, like who was your guys' fourth quarterback right now? Again, I don't watch college football. Is it Sellers? Is it Mateer? I heard Mateer was not great today. And like since his injury, he's not been great. So it seems like the top three, at least at this point, is the Simpson, Moore, and Mendoza thing. So if it's going to be locked down like that the rest of the year and the Jets are the number one overall pick, like there's no point of watching quarterback 4 and 5 to me. So we'll see. I'm going to round out these reviews. I think during the bye week, I'm going to give you guys like very, very, very short sample size of those guys. Like just wet your palate a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna do 3 individual quarterback reviews. I think what I'll do is do a short video, the short video may end up being 20 to 30 minutes of me showing you, 3, 4, 5 plays of Simpson's biggest strengths, 2 of the biggest weaknesses, 3, 4, 5 strengths of Mendoza, 2 or 3 of the biggest weaknesses, and then same thing with Moore. So it may be a review that ends up being like, 18, 19, 20 plays in total, which actually be hard to do in 30 minutes. So maybe even less. 3 plays of strengths, 2 of weaknesses. 3 plays of strength, 2 of weaknesses. That's 5, 15 in 30 minutes. You could probably do that. It's just a lot to discuss with quarterbacks, so it's kind of hard. But I feel like I'm gonna whet the appetite of you guys a little bit on the bye week and just show you some stuff, put up some stuff on Twitter. I know I'll be going on Jake's show as well to do some breakdowns of these guys. So watch out for that on the bye week. Joe, what's going on with Olu? Why does he always miss his punches? Wild Shoe. If you've been watching, the guys who have been watching and actually watch every week the reviews, and this is why I love doing the tape evals and having it recorded, because I said it last year during the review. He needs to change his punch. He needs to change it up. He basically it's not a technical hug technique, because like the hug technique is like technically 2 high hands. He very, 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 very consistently, if not probably even more than 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, he punches with the right hand into the hip, left hand contains. So both the hands are wide, and he just tries to continue with this hand and then rush you up the arc with that hand. The problem is, one, guys know it's coming, so they're not concerned about their chest being taken care of, and they just bull rush him. His chest is always open. And we saw him get beat last week because all the dude did was long arm him, which pushes Olu back, shortens the edge, and he just ran through the long arm and got a sack because Olu never punches into the chest. Never. And it's so frustrating to me because he did it at Penn State. I said it during the Penn State review. I said, this dude punches it the same way too often. Needs to change up his punch. Rookie season, this dude punches the same way. He needs to change up his punch. Sophomore season, this dude punches the same way. Needs to change up the punch. That's the biggest thing with Olu. I just spit. Needs to change up the punch, dude. It's the same thing every single time. He'll change up the footwork. He might throw in a circle punch. He might throw in a fake punch. but it's always this. It's always this. And his chest is always controlled. And I said it. Guys are going to start to time it. And we saw one guy like run up to him, jump, and like do a stupid head fake that would not work against anybody. He knew the chest was going to be open, and he's bull rushed the shit out of him. So if he doesn't change up his punch, he's not going to be successful in the NFL. That just is what it is to me. It's as simple as that. So why he's not, I don't know. This is the type of situations where I would love to be just a fly on the wall and just see how they're telling him change up the fucking punch, because guys are smart in the NFL. If they watch you play and I notice it and you do the same thing every single rep, they're going to take advantage of it. There's no catch-all technique in the NFL that's going to win you every single rep. You have to have versatility. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, receiver, corner, whatever. If you do the same thing every time, you're going to get roasted. And he's getting roasted because he does not change up the punch. It is so frustrating to watch. Watch. Let's see. I'll just show you. I explained to you already what it is, but it's blatantly obvious. No, that's the pass. Fast hit allowed. It's this punch every single time, and his chest gets controlled. He does it every time, dude. It's really starting to piss me off. So you got me a little bit off my rocker there with the punch thing, because all the guys do take advantage of the chest, shorten, soften the edge, turn, hit the quarterback. So same punch. I could show you literally. I could show you 300 plays of him doing that same punch. That's what it is. I think it's not as simple as that. Like there's little other things, like, you know, the one time, you know, he tried to take a 45-degree set and he should like vertical. Like there's little other things as well, but that's the biggest problem. Dana, you just go to a show to see how like it's so bad. It's almost like a car crash that you just got to watch it. Draft a quarterback second round or trade back into the first round and take one late first round. Well, I don't. Okay. Your name is Troll Rich. You have to be trolling. I like John Mateer. I think he came back early from his injury. I'll watch. Dano 100% texted Daniel Murphy, because I haven't seen you, Dan. I haven't. So where'd you go? I know you used to be here all the time, and then you got a podcast, and then you bailed because you're big time now. But it's all right. Don't worry about it, dude. It's fine. We used to be cool. Murph probably out lifting 300-pound dumbbells. Is that what you're about? I just saw a guy on because it like pops up on YouTube. He was curling like 85s like very easily, and I was like, that is just stupid. I had a kid in high school, and he cheated a little bit on preacher curls, but he could preacher curl like a 95-pound dumbbell. And I'm not saying he went all the way down and extended, but I also think he had T-Rex arms. Also, it obviously helps when you have shorter arms for, you know, lifting. But yeah, dude, that's 300-pound dumbbells. That'd be obviously wild. Thoughts on Breece Hall having half his games with 2-point-something yards per carry, time to give up? I think he's been better this year. Like he's been more explosive. I still think the vision is sketchy, and he's not as explosive as he was his first year or two. So while I think he's been like last year, he was bad. Like as a starting running back last year, he was bad. Drops, yards per carry, broken tackles, everything indicates both by numbers and film that he was bad last year. I think this year he's been average to slightly plus average at times, even while he has the lows of 2-point-something yards per carry as well, even though teams stack the box, so it's impossible to run. So I think he's been about average to plus average this year. So like time to give up. It depends on what he's willing. He almost seems like a receiver's mindset in a running back, like with the you know, tweets about, you know, whatever on Twitter. He seems like he thinks he's a little bit better than he is. So I think he's going to outprice himself for the Jets, but it depends. If he's willing to come back for a cheap price for $8, $9, $10 million a year, then fine, because you're not necessarily sure what's behind him, even though I like Isaiah Davis. I think Braylon Allen has talent. So it kind of depends. It's kind of on the Jets, like not to be a fence sitter on that one, but he's not been as bad as last year. I think he's been okay. You know, to be fair, I never know. Well, so Dan, there's a really cool thing you do on YouTube. So if you go and you hit the notification bells, it tells you, it says, hey, he's going live right now. But no, I get it. Obviously I'm joking, Dan, you're busy. But it's it's a thing. It's a thing where my schedule rotates every week, so I'm never consistent. Like it's pretty consistently going to be the day I'm off first, so I can give you guys a schedule. It's going to be Saturday next week, and then it's going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's exactly how it's going to go. Like dead on like that. Oh, my bad, Murph. Or Danger Zone. And another one. Appreciate the super chats. I was here for like 45 seconds and already learned something. Yeah, dude, what the hell? Come on, man. What about the Fashanu stuff? I think they might take a running back on day 2 of the draft if Brees walks. Can I counter that, beloved piece, and say I do not believe that because they don't have a 3rd round pick? So you're saying they're going to take a 2nd round pick on a running back when this team needs every other position that's more important than running back. Running back is the easiest position to grab a UDFA, a 5th round pick, a 6th round pick, a 7th round pick, and have them be successful. The Jets need a tight end 2, a receiver 2, a receiver 3, a safety, a D end. They're not. I think it would be bad if they took a running back on day 2 with all the needs they have. That's just my honest opinion and how I'm feeling about that. You have Isaiah Davis who's capable. You have Braylon Allen who's capable. If you want to take a guy 4th, 5th, 6th round, fine. Day 2 with all the needs they have, I would be, unless obviously it's a slam dunk. Like holy shit, how is this guy here? Then yeah, fine, I guess. But I don't think that's good resource management with all the needs they have. Just being again real. I appreciate you guys. It's 12 o'clock. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go watch. What's that? What the hell is the show on Netflix? It's the show about like the murderers. It's the one with like Leatherface. I'm going to go watch some Leatherface, maybe some Gen V. If you guys are into Gen V, if you ever watch The Boys, I'm going to go do some of that. Take a little bit of a break. I appreciate you guys. I will, oh shit. Okay. Hold on. One more for Dan. You to the point of cleaning slate and stacking capital over starting over with Glenn guys and starting over with Glenn's guys. I'm to the point of starting over with everybody, cleaning complete house, obviously keeping the talent around, but I'm at the point where I might be cleaning house of Glenn. And that's kind of where I'm at. Wild Tree, I appreciate you. Beloved Peace, I appreciate you again. Next week, I'll have the Bengals review. JRB31 on Twitter, $3 a month. You're going to get full-blown reviews of these quarterbacks, 118 plays recorded of them already. I'll watch the rest of the seasons. It's going to be the spot to be for Jets content, specifically towards Jets quarterback search. I will check you guys out.